if you want to support the show, any of the shows, either this or whichever show, I'm not on right now because it's just a blanket ad for all of them, and the website, you can go to bewareofspoilers.com. In the description for any of the episodes of Beware of Spoilers, there is the option to donate. If you don't want to donate that way, you can donate directly through the website. We do have that, mwpnews.com. And if you don't want to support that way, then going to mwpnews.com will help out because we have ads there. We don't want to keep it, where there's a lot of ads. There's a few ads. But the point is we want to make it so that way, we can sustain this for the long term. If people donate, we're never going to paywall anything, I don't think, as of right now. But if people, start donating, we'll start doing cooler and cooler stuff. Like donations are how we get to cover stuff like Tribeca and other, film festivals. And, we may be able to bring on more people to help out. So if you want to help out the show and you want more content from us, by all means, even just going and giving us a 5-star rating on Spotify helps out a lot. But that's it. That's the only ad we'll have on the podcast ever. But here's whatever podcast you're going to be listening to. Good morning and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. We're here today to talk about Agatha All Along, the new show from Disney Plus about Agatha Harkness, the sequel to WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Here's the thing. I think one of my complaints about WandaVision, if you go back and listen on 30-minute reviews, we did a rewatch of WandaVision leading up to this, and I think one of my issues with WandaVision remains true here, and I think that here it doesn't even have the plot armor to kind of be like, oh, I understand why they did this. The first episode spends way too much time in the delusion, I think. We're dealing with valuable story real estate. We don't have a ton of time to tell this story. It's a miniseries. You don't have a ton of time, and you don't have enough space to do that. The issue becomes, if you're going to spend so much time in Agatha's delusion, living out this Mares of Easttown, where the fuck that show was, that was on HBO. Was that the one with Kate Winslet? There were a few shows that all came out at the same time, like true crime or like crime shows. But like, Mares of East whatever, like, that is what this show kind of is. Is what the parody in the first episode. Okay, I get it. You're trying to parody the more serious cop procedural. That's kind of like, the prestige TV version of a network procedural. Okay, I get it. But that's not what this show is. This show is, because that spell gets broken. So clearly that's not what this show is. The issue becomes, why are we spending so much time here? Especially when we find out very quickly Rio, Aubrey Plaza, wants to kill Agatha. And then when you get to the reveal, when she reveals who Agatha is, I mean, I guess it's kind of implicit that, like, she wants to kill Agatha, but, like, she wants to fight Agatha as Agatha, and not just, kill her in this delusion or kill her without powers. Like, I get what they're going for, but at the same time, it kind of doesn't quite feel right, I guess would be the way to put it. Like, I don't exactly understand why they went so long on that, because I understand that you need to have this kid be the one to break her from this delusion. Like, because that's, at the end of the day, that's the thing, is that it's like, clearly this kid is either Billy or Tommy, whichever one was Wiccan. Like, clearly that's the case. Clearly that's what this kid is. He's one of Wanda's kids, whichever one was the one who could do magic like Wanda. That's who this kid is, clearly, and what he wants when he gets to the end of Witch's Road is to resurrect Wanda. That's clearly what's going on here. The show is playing coy about it. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't think making that a twist makes it work any better than just being like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and Wanda is my mother. And I want to resurrect her, and that's why I want to get to the end of Witch's Road. Because I don't think that that's something, as characterized by WandaVision, that Wanda would be against. Because, like, if Agatha would be against. If Agatha brings her back, then Agatha can steal her powers, which is what Agatha wanted in the first place. And then again, we get to this point where it's like, okay, so this kid's gonna bring back Wanda. Does it also bring back the Darkhold? And like, there are a lot of things here that are kind of weird about these first two episodes where I'm like, I don't know if we need to have this level of secrecy. I do like his dynamic with I do like his dynamic with Agatha in the second episode. Like the way the two play off each other is great. Catherine Hahn and I don't know the kid's name, but the two of them are great playing off each other as they're going trying to recruit the Coven to go down the Witch's Road. Like, that whole thing is very good. And if we can get this entire show being just like these people who are, all great actors in this ridiculous situation, all just kind of playing off each other, this is a road worth taking, I think. Especially as we get into, the next episode, now that we have the actual Coven together and they've gone down, and they've gone into the, they're on the Witch's Road now. Like, that could be interesting. I did not see as much of the cast of WandaVision back as was back. So, like, the guy who's in the Miller Lite commercial with, is it Luke Wilson or Owen Wilson, and Jorge Posada, who just yells, "It is both." Like, he's back, and it's like the guy who played, the neighbor, and all these other things. And it's like, yeah, we were just kind of letting you do your thing. You seem more lucid today, though. Like, and that's kind of the other thing too, is that it's like, I get that you need to have to establish a mystique around this kid, and kind of it needs to be his way in. Needs to, like, and the thing is too, I think Agatha would be stupid to not know who this kid is. Because it's like, look, there was a rumor online that that's who this kid is. And I'm like, look, okay, rumor online be damned. It's like, who else could this kid be? Where it's like, anytime he tries to tell his backstory, it gets blotted out so he can't know. So he can't articulate it to Agatha. And it's like, what else has that power besides, like, the Scarlet Witch? Like, clearly this kid is one of Wanda's kids. Like, I think that if Agatha doesn't know that, it's like, and Agatha ends up being used, it reflects poorly on her. Because, like, how the fuck would she not know that? Or at least be able to, like, figure out, like, I have a working theory that this kid is either Tommy or Billy. I forgot which one was the one that did it. Like, I just, it feels strange to me, for lack of a better word. It feels like odd that the issue becomes, like, why is it being played as a secret? Because I think that, like, even if you get to the second episode and it's like, oh, by the way, I am so-and-so and I'm here to bring back my mother, it's like, oh shit, okay, you're gonna get people. I think that would get more people in than get people like, oh, well, who's this random kid who's here and he wants to bring back and he wants to go down the Witch's Road for reasons. If they were like, hi, I want to resurrect Wanda. I feel like that's something that would get more people involved. And get more people like, oh shit, let's go. Like, let's see how this... Let's see what they do with this. Like, that would get more people in. And that's the thing, is that it's like, at this point, we've kind of corrected from where we were at the end of WandaVision, because I'm gonna retread some of it, but if you want to hear my full thoughts, go back and listen to the 30-minute reviews over the last 10 weeks. But in that, we sit there and we watched every week as, you know, what's it called, as we get this development of Agatha, and then even the song is Agatha all along. It was Agatha pulling the strings all along. But not really, because Agatha wasn't really pulling the strings. She showed up because the Scarlet Witch showed up, and she wants the power of the Scarlet Witch, and she's there because the Scarlet Witch is a dangerous power. She thinks she has the ability to control it enough that in her hands it won't bring ruin to the world, but she can use it to subjugate the world. Like, and that's why she's there. So she goes out and she tries to kill Wanda, so that way she can absorb Wanda's power, and then she can, and then she can get to, and then she can have the power of the chaos magic of the Scarlet Witch, and then she could have that. The issue becomes that, like, yeah, but if she's just doing this because she wants to take away Wanda's magic because, you know, it's a very dangerous thing for her to have, and look at her, she can't be trusted to control it, that creates a compelling kind of anti-hero almost for Agatha. And then when you get to the end and you have that fight where she's trying to defeat Agatha, like, the music is too triumphant for what this is, because what it is, it's Wanda slowly coming into her own and getting the power of the Scarlet Witch. It's more like, you know, the scene of Paul after he's drank the water of life, going into the War Council and talking to everyone about what they're going to do when they go to fight the Harkonnens. This is not a positive scene. This is not meant to be a heroic moment. This is scary. It is someone who has figured out how to abuse their abilities and use, like, it's a dangerous moment, and it is a moment of reckoning for the universe that this has happened. And I think that the score and the way that that's shot doesn't give you that same sense of, like, oh yeah, it's good that Wanda's winning because we, the audience, care about Wanda, but at the same time, we are kind of, like, this is not good for the wider universe. If the Scarlet Witch has been, you know, reawakened, and the Scarlet Witch is going to be, you know, an entity that needs to be handled within the Marvel Cinematic Universe and at its full power, like, the way that it's kind of, sort of explained, it seems very dangerous to have this around. So if that's the case, then this is not a good thing that she has done. This is not good at all. So what you got to deal with is this idea that, like, okay, so what do we do now? Like, and how do we deal with this? And then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't necessarily think that, you know, the show handled that well. But then you get to, you know, we see the Scarlet Witch at her full power in Multiverse of Madness, or maybe not even full power. We see her using a fraction of her power, because she's still kind of learning what the limitations of her powers are. As she's starting to, you know, what was that called? Dreamwalk across the multiverse. Like, it's a cool moment. Like, the issue becomes, as I'm watching this, like, why are we not just going like, oh no, we're gonna bring back Wanda now? Like, just be upfront about that. Like, this kid wants to resurrect Wanda. Even if it's not revealed, oh, this is Billy or Tommy or whichever one's Wiccan. Like, even if that's not what they're doing, and they're not like, oh, we're going to resurrect, you know, what's it called? We're gonna I'm her son, and I want to bring back my mother. Like, even if that's not the case, simply the reveal of I want to bring back Wanda, and that's what I'm on this quest for, is a lot more engaging for the audience. Because again, I think the thing is, regardless of how the audience perceives the threat of the Scarlet Witch, the audience already has a deep attachment to Wanda. So you're going to inherently put them in this conflicted place where it's like, oh, good, I like Wanda, I like Elizabeth Olsen, I feel bad for her, and I understand why she does what she does in WandaVision. Like, I understand it. I don't condone it, but I understand what brought her, like, what transpired in her life that brought her from point A to point B. Point A being, you know, she's an Avenger. Point B being she's taking an entire town hostage to play out her sitcom fantasies. Like, I understand what happened there. I understand. Don't condone it. I understand. I litigated it there, but I like you. That's the point of that show. You can understand why she does it, but it's not good that she does. It's still inherently the bad guy. Like, the issue is when you watch this, you know, when you watch this show, like, why are we playing coy about this? Because once you say, oh, we're trying to bring back Wanda, that immediately ups the stakes. Where it's like, Agatha clearly would be on board with that, because Agatha wants that power for herself. She thinks if they bring back Wanda and she can immediately dispatch her, boom, I have the power of the Scarlet Witch, I'm good. That's going to motivate her. And then hiding that fact from the other witches who are coming with her in the Coven, who are all great, by the way. I like all these actresses. They do great work. But hiding that from all three of them, and then that being a reveal later as something that could break up the Coven, is something that would lead to, you know, this great moment, you know, later on in the show, where it's like, oh, you knew the plan was to bring back easily the most dangerous force of chaos in the multiverse. Like, and you knew that was the plan. Like, so why hide it? Is a thing that I feel like why hide it from the audience, at least. Like, I feel like there's a better way to handle that, and I think that inherently each episode that goes by that we don't address, that we don't know what this kid wants as he's going down the witch's road, and he's kind of the inciting incident for this, where it's like he wants to go down the witch's road, and that's why anyone is. Like, it's a little bit weird, just to say the least. It's like, you don't need to tell me every character's motivation, but this is a character that I'm like, even if you give me an ulterior motive that is like, oh, okay, that's worth it. Like, the idea that this kid just wants a shortcut is not great motivation for right now. Like, that's the thing, is that this kid is inherently driving the plot, and they're obfuscating the truth of what he wants. Even if it is something where it's like, we the audience know, but Agatha doesn't, that's compelling too. But the fact that we know nothing, but we can pretty much immediately figure it out based on what they're hiding from the audience, is a problem. It's inherently a problem with this show that I think needs to, you know, be addressed sooner rather than later. And again, that's the same thing with the first episode, where it's like, we know Agatha is not Agnes. We know this is a spin-off of WandaVision. You're not watching the show if you haven't watched WandaVision. We know Agatha is not really a detective living out this true crime fantasy. We know Agatha is really Agatha Harkness, or Agnes is really Agatha Harkness. The what's it called? The witch. And she's in Westview because Wanda put a hex on her. We know that. So why does it take half the episode? And look, the moment where she breaks out is fantastic. That's probably my favorite moment from the two episodes. That, and when they're getting ready for the Coven to show up, and the kid puts up the sign in the living room. It says "Welcome Coven," and he's like, "This looks straight." And she goes, "Oh yeah, let me just do this real quick." She just rips it down. Like, aside from that, and that kind of just highlights the comedic back and forth these two characters have. But besides that, I think that the issue is, I don't watch this show and like we don't hide don't keep the audience 2 steps behind, or keep the characters 2 steps behind the audience. If the audience knows something, we don't need to sit here for as long as we do to keep this illusion up for the sake of the characters who don't actually exist. And therein kind of lies my problem with part of the first 2 episodes. Because I think had we just gotten into, okay, this kid's gonna free her, boom, she's free, now let's go on to, I need to get my powers back, let's assemble a coven, let's go. You basically cut out an entire episode worth of content there, just getting us all caught up in one fell swoop, and just being like, okay, let's go, boom. Be more like Infinity War in your storytelling, Marvel, where it's like every frame of Infinity War is servicing the plot. That story is a masterclass in the economy of storytelling, where it's like everything that happens in that, there is no scene in there that is extra, because they need to bring everyone up to speed on every part of what went on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to this moment. And that's why that show works so well. That movie works so well, is that you will never feel left behind. But here you just kind of feel like, all right, let me just wait for them to catch up to where I am, and that's a problem. But we'll wrap up there for today. Our next episode will be tomorrow morning when we do... this evening we'll do Transformers 1. Tomorrow morning we'll be doing The Penguin. And until then, have a great rest of your week.